Well, going back to the Fifth Wheel podcast, I'm Hannah.
I'm Sydney.
And oh my God, we're back.
We were technically back last week, but like now we're like back.
Yes, now there's like actual racing to talk about on this and
Like
not just a really too
first
long recap.
race, new regulations, 26th season.
Chaos.
Insane.
Yeah, that was something. That was really, that sure was something, wasn't it?
I mean, what a start to the beginning of the season. We are like since Grand Prix start season has gone back to Australia, there has yet to be a dull moment.
No, there really hasn't been a dull moment, honestly. Like, I feel like we were keeping up with everything, and I still feel like I
Mhm.
missed things. You know what I mean?
Oh, the amount of times of like, oh, wait, they retired? When did they retire? When
When
did
did
that
that happen?
happen?
I don't recall, but okay, sure, sure, cool.
Oh, like, I don't even. Obviously, we'll have to start somewhere. We'll probably talk about some pre race things. But,
Yeah.
like, genuinely, like, it was one of the most, like, entertaining, but also just weird as hell races. And then there were just. There was so much going on
There
simply
was,
because of where we were watching this at, which we'll get to.
oh,
But
yeah.
like, it it was nuts. Like, hats off to you, Australia, because genuinely, not, I would say no complaints. Would I
I
have
have a
preferred
few
someone
complaints.
else to win? Yes. But as far as a season start, we were
That's true.
kind of fed with things that just happened.
We were fed, um, but not with what like we would have preferred to eat on the menu, but like we're still happy with what was on the menu, I guess.
Yeah,
You know?
yeah. Hmm.
So, well, I mean, we can go ahead and start with like I was with you to watch this race in person, which we could not talk about explicitly on the last podcast, even though we both knew.
Yes. We weren't. So, my sister, shout out Shelby, graduated from college this last weekend. Yes, it's March. Louisiana Tech's on the quarter system, so it's basically trimesters. Anyway, not really that important, except for the fact that it was graduation. And Hannah and Parker decided to drive up from Texas and surprise Shelby. And then there was a whole bunch of family and friends and a bunch of my friends that also watch F1 and then family friends. And it was just, we had ourselves a good little crew. It was really fun. And then Hannah and I talked about it. This was coincidentally the first season opener that we've gotten to watch together.
Which is like one not a crazy statistic given that we've only been friends for a couple years. But it also is crazy considering we have watched every single race where we have been located in the same city, we have watched together.
Yeah. Yeah. Because it was like, it's one of those, we forget that we haven't been friends for like 2 decades.
Yeah.
It's been like not even, it's been 2.5 years. If like it has not been that long.
No.
And which is crazy. But it was like last year I was out of town because my cousin got married. And so we didn't get to watch the race start together. And then the year before that was basically when we met. So
Yep.
like
We met at the
the
end of last
season was
season.
I think the season was over.
Yeah.
Because we met at the end of 2023. And so it just was I think you leaned over, you're like, wait, this is the first season opener we've watched together. And I was like, no, it's not. And then
Yeah. And
it is. It was.
it was. And as I'm saying that, suddenly Parker goes, ah! From a brain freeze from the daiquiris that we were drinking and had been drinking
Shout
up
out
until that
discount
point.
liquor.
Shout out discount liquor. I got the something sweet, and Parker got the. I don't know if I'm allowed to say that.
I
The
don't know that you are. I don't know if we should. Somewhat inappropriate word, fairy?
yeah, like another name for a cat, fairy. That one.
Yeah. The one I get, so I took them to, because I also went to Louisiana Tech. I took them to my favorite drive-through daiquiri place. If you're not from Louisiana or certain parts of like maybe Texas or Mississippi, drive-through daiquiri stands are probably a foreign concept. They're the greatest. You're like, well, surely it's an open container because it's a daiquiri in a cup. No, In Louisiana, it is only considered an open container once the straw is in the drink.
Which I think
Wait,
is beautiful.
couldn't you open the lid and drink it? That's not the point.
Yep.
That's
I
not
mean,
the point. But
in Texas we
it,
have that too, but usually they put a sticker over the thing. Like
yeah,
over the
Rabs, no, they just tape your straw to the side. The one I get is called the Homicide, and it just kind of tastes like pink,
I think
but
that's
it's
a great
delicious,
flavor.
right? Yeah, it just because it's a couple of flavors mixed together, hence Homicide, and yeah, it's phenomenal. And I missed discount liquor daiquiris, but it was just a really fun time. We went to. We've mentioned him a couple of times on several episodes. We went to my friend Danny. We went to his house, and it was me and Hannah and Parker and Shelby and our friends Maddie and Walter and one of his brothers, and then one of our really good family friends of mine and Shelby's dad, Todd Fry. Shout out Todd. Um,
And then
it
your
was just a great time.
cousin.
Oh, and our cousin James. We
I'm
kind
like,
of
there's a
guilt
lot.
tripped. Yeah, we kind of guilt tripped my cousin. He does not watch F1. We guilt tripped him into coming. It was really late, but it was fine. We had a good time.
Well, he was so set on coming, and then all of a sudden it was time to go, and he's like, "Nah." And
eh,
so then we bullied him, and he
yeah,
had a
Shelby
good
was
time.
like, I mean, I did graduate, and you could come with me or whatever. And it just was,
Yeah,
she guilt tripped him a little bit. It was fun.
as she should. It's her
Um,
weekend.
but yeah, so short story long, we got to watch the race together.
We did. And we were like preparing for the race to start, and I saw a tweet that was kind of concerning to me, and I thought that I was being punked. I've gotten punked too many times to not check my sources. And it was something about
Yes.
Oscar already being out of the race. And I was like, that's not possible. The race hasn't started and the formation lap hasn't even happened yet. And I mean, what do you know? They start doing the intro and they're like, here's who's starting in this place. And they go up and up and up and they get to Oscar next to, I think it was Lando. He started by Lando and it was like no place. Like there was nothing there.
You were scrolling, I think, on Twitter and
I
turned your
was.
phone, and I was like, there's no way that's real. I was like, he wouldn't have even had an opportunity to crash. Um,
Oh, but he did. You know, the reconnaissance lap is what they called it. I didn't know that was the name for it, but that's when,
yeah.
you know how right before the race starts, all the drivers are sitting in their spots on the paddock, and then their team takes the wheel covers off the tires, and
They
then
have
they
to
drive.
drive to go out there.
Yeah. He just ran into the wall.
Did you see the picture? Like, in cartoons when like a bird hits a window and it
Yes.
leaves the imprint, there was a straight up imprint of his car. Like it was the most cartoon ass looking just like imprint of a car.
It was
And
so
then
funny.
someone later tore the like advertisement on the concrete and wrote Oscar was here.
Oh, I didn't see that one.
And then, and
Oscar.
then, if we recall, 2025 season opener in Australia, when good old Oscar Piastri kind of ruined his race because he decided to, take a lap and mow the lawn.
Yeah.
The viral song of the drag path, and it's just like leaving your mark. Well, he left his mark on the grass, and there was quite literally a drag path. And then there was the entire outline, and I'm not talking like you can tell a car hit it. You can
No, you see the
visibly
tires.
see the F1 car
You see like
in
the
this
wing.
wall.
It's like cartoonish is the perfect word for that because it was
Like
genuine.
it
Like
didn't look real.
it didn't. It didn't look real. It was hilarious.
I mean,
Honestly, so this is already just like so interesting. Race hasn't even started.
yeah,
Um, Nothing
yeah.
happens in formation lap, but I don't know if anyone else noticed this. I know some people did, but I tried to mention it, but everyone was just kind of like, um, the guy who or girl, whoever it was that did the lights out, just did you see how fast it happened? It was like boop,
Yes,
boop,
because
boop, 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 boop. Go.
no, literally, because it was one of those. I literally I was like, oh shit, it's lights out.
Yeah.
Because it was like I was kind of half paying attention during the formation lap, but then you usually have it. It was like car in position. Oh hey, we're going now.
No, literally, it was like the light for the fifth light was on for. I'm telling you, it was less than half a second. Like,
Oh,
if you blinked, you would have missed it.
instantaneous.
It was crazy. But I mean, holy insane start.
Funny you say that because quite literally my first note is holy start Charles.
That's what mine says. It says holy start.
Why are
Yeah.
we the way that
So
we are?
we all know that George Russell qualified P1, clean
Yes.
P2. Charles said, "Hold my beer, here we go," and just decided to take the hell off, which was awesome. I
It was
think he. I'll reference a quote that he said later, but I think he was also referring to this in the beginning of the race. He's like, "It feels like the mushroom in Mario Kart."
I mean, welcome back, iconic quote during the Australian Grand Prix, Charles Leclerc. Because last year, this was when we got, I have a seat full of water, like
Must
full
be
of
the
water.
water.
I
Yeah,
mean,
it was crazy.
huh?
Huh? So one thing I noticed, so obviously he started crazy fast. That was insane. Um, it seemed like the cars were significantly faster on the corners. Like normally with
Mm-hmm.
the old, they were almost like too big to turn a corner fast because of, I guess now they're lighter or whatever. Everyone was zooming around those corners, which made passing very easy to accomplish.
Oh my, there were, I'll get the exact number wrong, but it was like 120 some odd overtakes.
It was crazy.
That's
And
crazy.
probably like 50 of those were between Charles and George
Holy
in
hell.
the first
I mean,
5 laps.
it's one of those. I feel like we've gotten so used to it's like, ah, yeah, okay, he might, Ferrari might overtake at the start, but then we're going to lose that sucker and just never be able to get it back. I mean, so for those of you that anyone that has watched The Office, Michael Scott um gets and reverses a vasectomy like 4 times and then makes the snip snap snip snap snip snap. It was like that, except it was just George and Charles switch, and it was like they were legit overtakes, and it was one of those. I forgot how much I loved watching Charles race
Oh,
because
he
when he's
sent
got a
it.
car that can do, I mean, you saw glimpses of it a little bit last season, but it was like we really, I feel like, haven't seen, and granted, because the car just couldn't do it last year, but we have not seen overtakes like that from Ferrari. And I mean, and even Lewis too. Like, there were just some genuinely insane overtakes, and it was so much fun to watch.
It was amazing. And I feel like in the past few years, whether I realized it at the time or not, and I kind of did, the past few years has been like solidly just like who has a good car and who can
Yeah.
somewhat work that car in a good way. This race felt like we were actually seeing like
Hmm.
technical racing skill. Like there
Yeah.
was a clip, I'm sure y'all have seen it, of Franco Colapinto, like very last
Oh my
second.
God.
It reminded me of Isaac Hajar's from like
Yes.
F2. I was like, that was crazy. And so we're seeing all of these crazy overtakes and like technical moments that I feel like the old cars were just too bulky to accomplish.
Hmm.
So it was really fun in that sense. Um, Another rocket ship that I would like to talk about, and I say rocket ship, it's more like the pilot of said rocket ship. Um, at lap 12, so Max started in P20, and he said, "You know what?
Welcome
I had
back, Max
such a great
Verstappen.
time. Had such a great time in Australia last year. That was a really cool thing I did by going from like last to first. What if I like tried to do that again?" So by lap 12, he was up to P6 from P20,
Yeah. It's
and I'm like,
crazy.
"Are we surprised?"
No, not
No.
in the slightest.
And weirdly, that was not the most exciting thing that happened the entire race. Like weirdly, like that was not like the thing to talk about from the race. Don't get me wrong. He did fantastic and that was awesome.
There
But
were
like
just
we're just now
there were
scraping the surface.
so many things. I mean, like um, like just well, for one, so we had one of Walter's brothers and his girlfriend were there, and they don't really watch F1, and so they asked one of them and asked how you score points, and mind you, I'm taking notes and I accidentally hit like the microphone, um, and I kept it because honestly, it's really funny. Now, granted, it's not verbatim because I sometimes speak in a way that, text to voice to speak text, whatever, can't
Hmm.
quite capture, all of this. It said, "Oh my God, you finished in the top 10. You're welcome." No, they got rid of that in real life. They don't do that anymore. Oh, they don't. When did when when did he hit? Call Pinto and go Pito penalties. I think that's what it was supposed to be. Which, for one, the end of that gibberish. But I do know that this was the moment that we get this lovely little graphic. Because, you get penalty of like, so and so has a stop and go penalty, or this is being investigated by the stewards. All of a sudden, we get this lovely little penalty message from the FIA that says, Colapinto and go penalty. Car number, whatever number he is, Colapinto. Colapinto and go penalty?
I think they forgot to put the word stop.
They totally did.
Thing, but like, seeing Colapinto and go, I was like, okay, that's hilarious. Like that.
It's so fun. Like, I'm like, what is that? You have to go drive by the Alpine pit box and let Flavio yell at you for 10 seconds?
No, genuinely.
Like, what is this? I mean, like, honestly, that might be kind of entertaining.
That honestly would be entertaining. Colapinto and go. Next biggest F1 penalty. We're gonna get. Hey, even if like Nico Hulkenberg does it, it's still a Colapinto and go penalty.
Jeez.
I feel like we're gonna refer to that as the stop and go for the rest of the season.
Oh, absolutely. That's like one of those when your friend says a word wrong, and then that word is forever referred to as the wrong word and is just funny as shit.
It's like when we say friendship.
Finship. Or shout out Maddie, when we were at the Taco Bell drive-thru after a concert, and ordered a beefy 5-layer burrito.
Burrito? That's a good one.
Like Colapinto and go penalty. And I'm like, yes.
Yeah.
Speaking of graphics.
Huh?
Speaking of graphics.
Yes.
I'm gonna need F1 TV or whatever broadcast we're watching on Apple TV now to give me to the thousandths.
Oh my God,
the
that was
gaps.
so frustrating with how quickly they were able to overtake each other. Like, I mean, like they would. I think at one point Charles went from like a 4-second gap to George to like a less than 1 second gap within just like a couple turns. And so because like it just happens so quickly, you need to be able to see
And it's
the hundreds.
like to the normal folk. I'm sure you're like, there's not much of a difference between 4.59 and 4.51, but there is. And we were only seeing to the 10th. And I'm like, no. And the thing is, I know that we, the people, have the power to complain enough and get them to get the graphics shit together, because there were several things last season that we had to complain about, and then they fixed it.
Yep. I think we should all complain. I think everyone, if you're listening to this,
Everybody call your senator, aka the local FIA representative.
Yes,
I don't know if that's a thing.
I don't know. Write to someone. Comment on
Your mom, your aunt, your cousin.
I was gonna say comment on F1 social media, but I don't know if you heard about that today. They're hiding negative comments on their page.
Huh.
The F1 official account is censoring the fans now, which I mean, raise your hand if you're surprised.
Oh, sorry. I thought you were gonna say if you're not surprised.
No, if you're listening and not watching, neither of us raised our hands because the FIA is stupid. So
the thing is, though, the people will still complain, and the people will be heard, because if there's something about the general F1 social media community, it's like you're gonna hear all the opinions,
even if they're bad.
Even if they're bad.
Which I have a lot of those.
I mean, we all do. Like, I'm sure we say things and that somebody has listened and go, they're dumb as hell. I mean, yes, but that's fine. I don't care.
Yeah. Well, I would like to take this moment. So, speaking of opinions, I guess this isn't really opinion. I think most Ferrari fans are aware of this. Ferrari, has this magical way of just taking a good thing and roundhousing it in the nuts, I guess. And so Isaac Hadjar has an issue. Like I don't know exactly what it was, but he's out the race. He has to
Um,
pull off the side.
I think it was just a hydraulic failure. I don't
Yeah,
know. There
something
were
like that.
several people who were like, "What the hell happened?" And it's just at this point, it's some sort of failure because they don't. The cars just don't have the reliability yet.
Right, right. So virtual safety car happens. And you know what would be really perfect here? So we had Charles in first place. It wasn't Hamilton in P2 at that point?
I think Lewis was in second.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it was a Ferrari 1-2. Virtual safety car. And you know what Ferrari does not do?
they pulled a
Pit.
McLaren in Qatar.
They did not pit. Correct. You know that meme, or I guess that influencer like Tara's World or whatever on TikTok that like had that controversial story where she's like, "No, I finna be in the pit." Um, I sent that screenshot to a friend and said, "Everyone but Ferrari right now. I finna be in the pit." No. Um, so we got roundhouse kicked in the nuts and then lost that lead that we had, which
So yeah, because
ooh.
Mercedes. Then after that, yeah, because George and Kimmy were running 3 and 4. They went in, came out, obviously behind um, Charles and Lewis, and it was one of those like at the time I could I could see maybe not pitting that early under that safety car or that virtual safety car. To Ferrari's defense, and now granted, they were back on their clown behavior strategy shit. There was I feel Stockholm syndromed a lot by Ferrari, but there was like
Yeah,
a
I'm like, am I
slight
hearing you
sense of
defend this right now? You're like, to be
just
fair.
there's a point. It might not be a good one, but there is a point. Um, I am a little Stockholm syndrome, and I'm like, oh, I'm like, my clown Ferrari strategists are back. No, I don't want them to stay. They can literally leave and never come back. But to their defense, it was like lap 10. And in all honesty, Australia usually isn't a one stop.
Yeah.
So they're thinking Mercedes is probably still going to have to pit again. Or if they don't, there's no way their tires won't degrade, right?
Right?
Right.
Right?
And and honestly, at this point, I'm almost okay with that gamble because the cars are so unreliable for a lot of teams right now that the likelihood of another virtual safety car or another safety car is high.
Hmm.
And, well, we got one.
We did.
Valtteri, Valtteri stopped and is one of those, everybody is like, great. Ferrari's going to, like Ferrari, we'll pit at the second virtual safety car. And then there was one. Well, it'd
Well,
be a shame if someone parked their car in the pit entrance.
hmm
Valtteri,
that was insane.
I love you, Valtteri, but I want to roundhouse kick you because his car conveniently pulls into the pit lane entrance. So this whole virtual safety car, no one can go take a pit stop.
No one.
And which wouldn't be an issue if there had been another one. There was not. So
Yeah.
Ferrari just basically has to eat crow and then take a pit stop just a little bit later in the race. And the thing is, it's like it still maybe could have worked if the tires or hadn't lasted on the Mercedes, but they just, I mean,
They did. Well, like,
George literally pulled a book, a page out of Charles's book of like your tires can't legally degrade without your consent because they didn't.
right. Like a normal one-stop strategy for Australia would be pitting around lap 27, and George and Kimmy pitted on lap 10. And so I was
Yeah.
like, I was holding out hope. I was like, surely they will have to stop again. Surely. Correct? Maybe? No. Answer was no. So,
Unfortunately not.
unfortunately, Ferrari is back as they
But,
were.
it was one of those and we've still got lots to talk about. But as far as from a Ferrari standpoint. So to jump to kind of we'll come back because there's a whole lot with Aston Martin that we need to talk about.
Oh yeah, I can't wait for that.
Sorry, Walter, in advance. Walter's a big Aston Martin fan, and he's gonna have a rough year. Anyways, but it was one of those like when we were watching Ferrari at the start of this race, I was excited, and that was such a foreign feeling after because we just did not get that last season, like at all. And I remember, I think we literally were clutching each other at the beginning of this race of just like, what is happening? And then I was like, no, I was like, nobody say anything about it. They will hear you and they will get scared.
Right.
Like,
well, I mean, at one point, I think like because the overtakes between Charles and George happened like so quickly, like you would look at the screen, it was like he's 4 seconds behind, and then like within a few seconds he wasn't. And so I think at one point you probably were like, oh, there's a little bit of a gap, and you went to turn to Shelby or someone, and I just started hitting you like they're back, they're passing again. It was crazy.
it was so fun to watch.
I genuinely have, like, just to echo what you said, I have not felt that level of excitement for Ferrari in so long, because every race last season would be like, if there was anything kind of okay happening, I'd be like, no, they're gonna botch it, that's what they do, or like, here's why it won't work. And this time
It was like hoping and praying that both cars could either A, just finish the race, maybe both finish in the points. And like, and it's one of those, I know how we sound like right now. I know that it like,
but Daddy,
somebody
I
needs
love
to
him.
go like tell last week us of like, yeah, nobody's going to know how this whole season's going to go after one race. Well, let me tell you one thing. The hope has entered the chat. The hope is staying in the chat. And like, I fear that it's only intensified. And now I'm like, oh, we can like legit fight for podiums.
We can, and we did. So I am very excited about that. I do think we need to take a moment to talk about Aston Martin, though.
Can I just, okay.
Yeah.
I don't remember what we mentioned last week on the episode. I
We
think
talked about
all
nerve damage.
we talked about the nerve damage saw trap torture device of a car that they built. Right.
Correct.
So, yeah, that appears to be legit. At one point, there's just a long ass pit stop for Lance, and I think he comes back. They didn't quite retire him yet.
It was like
And
like a
not
minute
long after, because it was my next note, Fernando comes on the radio and says, "Can we retire the car? I have an issue."
So
like,
yeah. And so
huh?
then he goes in the pits and retires the car. So naturally we're like, we're like, okay, that's that. Like, his name has been grayed out.
Yeah, he's out. He's out of the race.
But then, so I remember like one point I was
Like
trying to
20 laps later.
Yeah, a few laps later, we suddenly the number of people out, it was 6 before, it's down to 5. And Alonso's at the bottom, and you know, like where it's like plus 10 seconds, plus 30, whatever.
Try plus 10 laps
And that got all the way up to plus 12 laps.
for Lance.
Oh, for Lance it was?
Mm-hmm.
Well, you know what?
Nevertheless, 10, 12, 2, 7, he's down multiple laps.
At what point?
Maybe it was 12. I don't know.
guess
I could be
it, like,
lying to
it
you.
makes sense because you want to finish the race. You can get negative points, at least in fantasy, for not finishing a race. Like, you want to try to get
That's
anything you can. However, it would, like, I don't know how to explain it other than, like, it's like, guys, stop. He's already dead, you know?
No, literally. Like, and what's funny is you're like, like, that's, yeah, I guess, sure, plus 10 laps, maybe getting some more data. We're like, I don't know why you wouldn't want to do that. Well, then all of a sudden, Lance just disappears off the timetable. Like, this happened, I remember I don't remember which race it was, but it happened last year where it was all of a sudden, it was like, when did Lance retire?
Yep.
Because it was just like he was in the race and then he wasn't. And then that literally happened. And then all of a sudden, he's just back.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it was like, what was it? Fudge in Harry Potter, like, he's back. Like,
No, literally. It
it's
it
just,
it doesn't make any
huh?
sense. Well, uh, and it's funny because we kind of know how they feel about it too, at least in a sense. Lance had an interview after, and the interviewer said, "At least you had a start. You did some racing. Did you learn anything from the experience?" And Lance goes, "Well, race." He literally said, "Well, racing's a strong word. We circulated." I
I
fear, I fear that, I fear that I'm with Lance on this,
that was
and that was a
really
really
funny. I
funny thing
fear
to say.
like that was funny.
Lance has some like good moments
Hmm.
when he needs to have them. Like he's very pessimistic and unhappy to be there all the time, but when something really bad actually happens, what he says is typically pretty funny or just
Yeah,
awful. It kind of goes
it
one way or the
was
other.
it like it just was, there were just so many things that just happened, and like it was so fun because some of it too was just simply the group that we were watching this with. Like I'm like, can we just do that every race, because that was
I
so,
know.
I mean, I was like, how many times did Danny do his Matthew McConaughey impression? And calling it a Matthew McConaughey impression is generous.
I think I killed a lot of people at Shelby's party cuz he did his McConaughey impression, if you can call it that, and or said something about it, and I said, "Oh, that's great. So when's McConaughey gonna get here?" And
It was
everyone lost it, and it was so funny.
it was
It's one of those like,
one of my other just like fun, like, so at one point there was a Esteban Ocon and Pierre Gasly
nature's
incident.
healing.
Nature is healing, and then that happens, and Shelby just is next to me, and she just starts singing "Feels Like Home," and it's a "feels like home" to
It's
me,
they
and it
will find
was
each other in every universe. It is so romantic.
like,
It
I
really
mean,
is.
like F1 is so back. Like there was, so Cadillac, right? We have 22 teams now. Don't forget, you're either going to forget about, you're probably going to forget about Alpine. I said that last week, and honestly, if it wasn't for Colapinto and Go and the Ocon Gasly moment, I would have forgotten about
Right.
Alpine. Um, but poor Cadillac, they didn't quite hit us with like the plus 10 laps kind of deal, but I mean, we're talking like one was like 30-40 seconds back, and then the other one was like an additional like 40 seconds back. And then I remember Parker had gone to the bathroom, and it was this moment that Valtteri's car decided to shit the bed.
Yeah.
uh and everybody's like, nobody say anything. We're like, just let him realize it.
How long
And
will it
he
take?
comes back and he sits down, and it's probably at least 30 seconds. He goes, no.
And we're all sitting there like watching him, waiting for him to realize. But remember, this man is also a daiquiri deep, and these daiquiris are big, and he's gotten many brain freezes from them. So
Yep. No, at one point, well, Daiquiri like goblet. At one point, he looks at us and goes, "This daiquiri feels like it's melting my esophagus." And we go, "Why are you still drinking it?" And he like point blank, just like, "'Cause it's tasty."
that's my
He's not
husband.
wrong. He was not wrong. But yes, so daiquiri deep, and he's like, "No."
Right, and then after that, he honestly started falling asleep on the couch at that
Hmm.
point. Which is, it was late, but also, he just kind of gave up hope on his team at that point. So
Which, like, kind of fair.
fair.
I mean, it was really funny. It was, like, for Cadillac being a literal, like, just brand new infant team, like, they didn't do bad. I mean, yes, they did bad, but like for a
Yeah.
brand new team, I do think my favorite moment of them for the whole weekend, I think it was I think it was during practice, or maybe like during a couple of practices. I don't remember the exact timing of it. But at one point, and I might get the left and right wrong, but there's a radio message. Valtteri, I've lost my left mirror. At some time later, Checo, I've lost my right mirror. And it's just like, balance. Like
Balance.
just the yin and yang of like, they really teammated so hard they lost a matching set of mirrors.
They're in sync, man. I have two funny Cadillac moments actually. Um,
Okay, hit me.
one of them was I was on Twitter today. I'm always gonna call it Twitter. It will never be X to me.
Yeah.
Um, there's a Twitter account called Did Haas Score Points, and they tweeted, "Yes, And then there's a quote tweet from Did Cadillac F1 Score Points? And it said, must be nice. That was one. And then the other thing, I was wondering how this would play out and if it would, and it did. So there was a few moments between Checo and his long lost rival Liam Lawson during the race. They had a few little, past moments, whatever. And I was like, oh, that's so funny. Again, nature's healing. Checo and Liam are fighting. And if you check Checo's Instagram, he did a like a photo dump, and one of the photos is of him in front of Liam racing. And I'm like, we're so back. Like the drama is so back. It's perfect.
Some of these drivers are so messy, and I live for it. Like, speaking of just it being back and just callbacks to things that we've talked about before, somehow or sometime Isaac got asked about like either like Max racing Charles or like basically coming back to the like, does Max race driver, like Charles differently than he does against other, like just anyone else on the grid. And someone was like, I love whenever I get to talk about this because it's like, yes, Max races Charles differently, not only because I think that they've raced alongside each other for so long that they know how each other races, but like that's part of it. Max also knows that if he doesn't tweak the way he races against Charles, that Charles is a maniac enough to take out himself and Max.
Oh yeah, Charles is like completely suicidal on track.
But like sometimes smartly. It's wild to me. Like at one point, I will never forget, and I think we looked at each other in shock in this moment because this was a real life Ferrari radio moment, and it was like we're thinking Plan A.
Yeah.
I forgot that they knew how to do that.
It's like I don't know if you, again, a John Mulaney reference. It's like the horse in the hospital. It's like
horse used the elevator.
I didn't know he knew how to do that.
Like I think we've been like, Stockholm syndrome, but like badly to just assume that like they never made Plan A because we were never going to get Plan A.
Right. It's just such a strange thing to hear on a Ferrari radio. And you know what's crazy too is it still didn't work.
It didn't. And some of that, yes, like you can't control Valtteri's car just braking in the pit lane entrance. Yeah. And so it's like that I think is just, it's not like, yes, the strategy probably was not all the way there, but it's not like they pulled a Charles in Monaco and told him to box when they weren't ready for him to pit, and then he loses Monaco in whatever year that was. Like it wasn't enough that I was raging. Like there was enough there that the hope overshadowed the rest of it. Like we still got both, we finished 3 and 4. So like we got a podium. Lewis didn't look absolutely miserable in his post-race interviews. Like I was like, he's smiling. I was like, Lewis is smiling in a Ferrari.
I think he has hope. Yeah. I think that's a dangerous thing.
And hope is so dangerous, and I have so much of it right now. And again, I hate it. I hate how much hope I have. But it's one of those like, and then I saw someone else on Twitter. They pulled up like, because most of the racer, like depending on how the weekend goes, like they're like, this weekend wasn't what we hoped for, but blah blah, hopes for the rest of the season. Like if you looked at just the messaging and the tone of Charles's post from Australia last year and his post from Australia this year, it's like I'm like, oh no, there's still hope.
Oh no, there's
so much hope.
There's a lot of it. Well, also he's like a newlywed. Like we talked about his wedding last week and stuff, but like man's just like he's still in the honeymoon phase for his wife and for the 2026 F1 car. They're in the honeymoon phase, and so yeah.
It's early in the season. A whole lot can happen. We've seen that time and time again, but it was enough of like some positives from Ferrari that I'm still very hopeful and excited to see what happens.
Yeah, definitely.
Um, Segue into another thing I'm excited to kind of see play out. I would like us to talk about our newest rookie, Arvid Lindbad.
Yeah, Lindblad. He was so good. I was so impressed.
Wow.
I loved it. I
I
remember
mean,
like
at
he was
one
like
point,
P4 for a long time during the race, and I was
yeah,
like,
he was
"What?"
running. He qualified phenomenally.
I was like,
He
"Whoa!"
qualified, huh?
I was just like, "Whoa!" Like,
No,
damn.
no, woe is right. Like he was the only, he out qualified his teammate Liam Lawson. He was running like so high up there, and then I think there were just some other just random things that happened, but he finished P8 in his debut race. And
Which is
like
crazy.
that there's something to be said about that. And then I saw another, again, Twitter. Shout out Twitter because it was on fire this weekend. So it's in the last 10 years, only 3 drivers have managed to finish in the top 8 in their Formula One debut. That's Ollie Behrman, who finished P7 in Jeddah when Carlos had his appendix deal.
Which was crazy.
Kimi Antonelli, who finished P4 in Australia
Mhm.
last year. And then now you have Arvid Lindblad finishing P8 in Australia. And then someone quoted that and said, future Mercedes versus Ferrari versus Red Bull rivalry will be crazy.
It will. That and it's so funny. All 3 of those people are currently on the grid.
Yes.
It's like none of these
And
are
they're
people in the
babies.
past. These are like this is current drivers.
You want
Um,
to know something crazy?
huh.
Of just like, because so Arvid Lindblad, he was born in 2007.
Oh.
He was born in 2007. You want to know when Hamilton made his F1 debut?
Wasn't
2007.
oh.
Is
That
that not insane?
it's reminds me of like Kimmy, like in like the picture of Isaac and Max when Isaac was a kid. Like
And
all
you're
of
like,
them are
a
just like
child.
a child, and we are getting old, and I'm not going to accept that. But actually, I did want to say, speaking of hello words, speaking of Kimmy, um, there was just like some gossip around the gossip mill. Have you heard about the gossip mill? So, um, a fan was on a flight that, and
Yes.
so yeah, so Isaac Hadjar and Kimi Antonelli were on the same flight together going somewhere. I don't know where yet where exactly it was. And they're just
They're on their
yapping
way
their
to
little
Singapore.
yeah, they're on their way to Singapore. They're just yapping their little tails off because
Or
they're
China.
like teenagers. They're like 19,
Hmm.
20, and they're literally children to me. And they're just like la da 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 da.
Public
Anyways,
plane, mind
Saudi
you.
Arabia might be canceled and Bahrain's gonna be canceled. La da 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 da, like loud,
Hmm.
loud.
Hmm.
Like the amount of media training I think they're gonna get after this is insane. It's gonna be like what's the word?
Like,
It's gonna be retaliatory media training.
it
They're
was
going
so
to
fun. Someone said, man, the Tom Hollands of Formula One. Because, Tom Holland is just notorious for accidentally spilling spoilers.
yep.
Uh, and it's just one of those because, you're exactly right. They're just 2 kids yapping of like basically it was like they started discussing the cancellation of Bahrain and Saudi, which I think I think F1 has come out since then and like, yeah, they're not doing them because of just everything happening in the Middle East right now.
Hmm.
And then someone was like, Isaac told Kimmy of like, yeah, you guys can win 2 less races now. And it's one of those, like, I know if I am that person sitting listening to, I'm like holding my, like hiding behind and just like holding my camera up to just like, because yeah, I'm gonna read this conversation.
I'm like, hello? Like literally, they're like why did we trust them with such a big secret? Like look
I
at
mean,
them.
and then there's this other picture of just like George is standing behind Kimmy, and it's just like the proud aunt just like watching their kid talk.
Hmm.
And it's just like the content between, like, I'm telling you, Toto Wolff just cloned Kimmy. Toto grew Kimmy in a lab
He grew him in a
because
lab.
it's just like it's just so funny to me
It
that
is.
just because what do you mean? Like that's how the entire internet finds out that these two Grand Prix are likely, if not confirmed, canceled.
Yeah.
Like it's
I love it, and that's the way I want it to be. I want it straight from the drivers' mouths when they don't
like
think anyone's listening.
pinnacle of motorsport. Welcome back.
Yes, seriously. FIA regulations don't apply when you are on a commercial flight. So let's go,
Literally.
baby.
Like it's just there were so many things and so many good callbacks. I mentioned the whole Carlos and his appendix deal, and then
Mm-hmm.
he went on to win Australia that year. It
I
was like
know
he
this
came back,
detail.
wins Australia. Well, a little bit before the season, Carmen, who is George's girlfriend, has her appendix taken out. And so, evidently, to win the Australian Grand Prix, a Spanish appendix just has to be
I
sacrificed.
literally have that word for word written down. A Spanish appendix must be sacrificed in order to win Australia. I
Because
thought that was so funny.
if I had a nickel for every time an F1 driver won the Australian Grand Prix after themselves or, the significant other who are both Spanish had their appendix taken out, I'd have two nickels, which isn't
It's
a
a
lot,
lot.
but it's weird that it happened twice.
Yep. Favorite quote. And that's I feel like we have so many of those in F1, by the way. Just like sidebar. If I had two nickels for every time some weird niche thing happened, I'd have two, which isn't a lot, but it's crazy it happened twice. I feel like we quote that once every like 2 or 3 episodes. Genuinely.
Because it's so true. Because what do you mean? Like I get there are infinite possibilities of things that could happen in F1, but just the fact that so many of these insanely, like you said, super insane niche things keep happening more than once. Like I just, huh?
Huh? I kept seeing tweets
Like
that was
it,
like, Oscar, 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 someone cut out his appendix. Like, even though he's
like
not
no,
Spanish, but
no,
it's like,
but well, no, it's got to be somebody Spanish that's close to him.
yeah, it's
Who
gotta
knows
be.
what'll happen if the Australian appendix gets taken out?
Who knows, genuinely, it
Probably will
might,
open Pandora's box.
genuinely, I was gonna say the world might explode at that point.
Like
So,
it's one of those. And I feel like we need to circle back to our resident diva, often diva of the day, George Russell.
yes.
So it's no secret. And Toto knows it based on just we've gotten some insane Toto content. Remind me to talk to you about Toto in the scooter in a moment.
Oh, I know what you're talking about too.
Okay, we'll come back to we'll circle back. This is
Okay.
things that anyway, yeah. So Toto knows they've got a rocket ship. They do. Their car's probably illegal, but the FIA was like, nah, it's fine. Whatever. Welcome back again, FIA. Typical. The car's really fast. They did also just get the strategy right. They finished 1-2. George wins, Kimmy second, Charles is third. Um, you know, George has had some he's like Charles in this. He has they've got some pretty iconic radio messages. Um George crosses the finish line. And genuinely the best way to put this is granted I don't think it was intentional, but George did probably one of the best Borat impressions
Yep. Oh
I've
my god.
ever heard. He quite literally, it was like, very nice, very nice. I like this car. I like this engine.
No, we watched that, and we said this out loud to each other. Obviously, we were like, "Did he do Borat?" But it's either he didn't intend to, and that's just who he is as a person, or he intended to, and he just is really bad at impressions, which also would be who he is as a person. So like
Yeah.
whatever the option was, it's not ideal. Whatever the
No.
actual one was.
But I was dying laughing
It was so
because
good.
it was just I was like, yep. I was like, you know what? I was like, hell yeah, George Russell. I mean, like it's right now. So just a little fun fact. We've talked about unless you've forgotten, if you have, this is your reminder. Still gonna get back to the scooter, but we're
Yep.
sidebarring. Um, we've decided that probably at maybe last episode into the season, we're going to assign and give out some F1 season superlatives. So I've got a list going. We're not setting categories. We're just kind of creating lists of our own. And naturally, which I'm sure it's probably one of yours as well, one of my categories is best radio message.
Yeah.
And right now, like Borat impression, it's up there. But right now, I mean, this is like a mushroom in Mario Kart from Charles. Like the concept of, like, granted, I know they play video games or whatever, but it's like the concept of Charles Leclerc referring to a mushroom from Mario Kart in like legit sense to Formula One. I'm like, right now, I'm like, after race one at least, I'm like, that is my quote right now.
Well, I mean,
but
one real quick sidebar on that, like, or just to piggyback. It's so funny thinking about them playing video games because one, they stream all the time, they play video games together, all these different things. One, it's just hilarious to think about Charles sitting down and playing Mario Kart, and then two, this just kind of reminded me of something. It was announced that Max is going to be driving a Mercedes car, but Red Bull branded, for the 2026 Nuremberg endurance race. But the announcements, like every single announcement I could find was like, Twitch streamer Max Verstappen will be racing for so-and-so. And it's like the concept of, like, all of the things, all of the titles you could have put on Max Verstappen, and you choose Twitch streamer. You could have chosen, like, neglected son. You could have chosen world champion. You could have chosen anything else but Twitch streamer.
That's like the equivalent. Like, it's so funny to me when people do that, of like, they either pick the most like niche, like, referent, like, that's not what they're known for. Like, it really reminds me of when people, for those that have seen Princess and the Pauper, the Barbie movie, Martin Short plays Preminger, who is the villain of the movie and has this fabulous song. That's like somebody of like, and Martin Short has talked about this in an interview of like, someone went up to him of like, hey, I loved you in Barbie, Princess and the Pauper.
Which, you know,
and he
his
was
face
like,
isn't even in, he's just voicing it.
No, it's just his voice. And so it's just like the concept of it being Twitch streamer, like, that's so funny.
It's so funny. I'd like to get back to Toto. Would you like to start
with
the scooter incident?
Yeah. So yeah, I asked Hannah to, and I hope that we have room for this on the thumbnail, because I've got really good screenshots of before, during, and after. So Toto, you know, a lot of the drivers, a lot of the team principals will ride scooters or bike around the paddock because it's just a lot of walking, and and you know, and Toto is not a short individual.
No,
Toto is tall.
He's a tall drink of
so
water.
Yes. Toto is riding a scooter, and is coming under, I might have been the paddock entrance, basically, you know, kind of a lower tent of sorts.
But like,
when I tell you, this man just smacked the hell out of his forehead. I mean, like, you're talking and it's like, like, just like literally damn near clotheslined himself. Somehow stays on the, I think it may have just like skimmed his, it looked like it just whacked him straight up in the head. Somehow stays on the scooter and then like crouches down, turns around and is like, what the hell? Like,
but then he like, I lost, right? He's like,
like, it was,
that was so
arguably hilarious.
It's nice to remember sometimes that he is human, you know?
Right?
Like, so there's some team principals that just seem to have it all together, or like just have this image, and Toto's very like,
Toto is that team principal,
like sleek, whatever. But actually I did have one thing regarding Toto. Speaking of, now that they have a good car, he can focus on the things that matters, which is screwing over Christian Horner. So
yes,
so Otro is getting rid of their shares in Alpine, and Christian Horner has been trying to like get those shares, and that's like the rumors we've been talking about with Christian Horner going to Alpine and stuff. Toto has started a bidding war with Christian on this, because it's like, again, we've got Esteban Ocon and Pierre Gasly. We've got Ferrari
Feels
mishaps. We've
like
got everything.
home to
Nature
me.
is healing. Like
Like,
genuinely, I love
inch.
that his energy is going towards this. It made
Because
me
it's
so
one of
happy.
those, it's like, if Christian Horner has no haters, Toto Wolff is dead. I mean, like, he literally took the whole, like, DTS a few seasons ago gave us just the absolute gem of a scene of, like, if you've got a problem, change your
Change your
fucking
fucking.
car. And it's,
You change your
I
car.
have it
Tucker's
printed.
been saying the car's fucked.
And you know, you want to know, it took him a couple of seasons, but you want to know what Toto went and did? Changed his fucking car. I
I have a
mean,
sticker on my laptop. I can't show it because I'm like got my camera on, but like literally right here is my sticker that says change your fucking car in rainbow font.
like nuts,
It's really
absolutely insanity. I mean, it just is one of those, like, I mean, we said it, like, we're so back. Like, just the artist last year, I don't know if you've seen it already circulating around. The artist last year that they started doing for every driver that podiumed, she drew them, or I think it's a she. They, drew them on this just image and added a cap every time they podiumed. So it was like it became this thing that I and a whole bunch of other people in the F1 community really looked forward to, because it was like when Nico got his podium, it was like, I can't
my
believe we're going to see
man.
Nico in this podium like cap picture. And I saw something earlier in the week, and I was like, "Oh my God, I sure hope so." Someone was like, "Are we going to get the cap drawings again?" And sure enough, I didn't even have to search for it. My Twitter feed knew I was going to need to see it, and we sure have. We have our first 3 caps of the year. We've got George and Kimmy and Charles, and I genuinely their handle, it's at SOG_GOOG if you want to go look at their account. Genuinely, like, shout out to you. You bring me and so many people joy with just this fun little drawing. It's
It's so
great.
beautiful.
We're so back. I
We're so
mean,
back.
we're so
F1's back.
back.
Racing's back.
F1's
Dare I
back.
say racing is back.
Racing is back.
Racing's back.
You know, and I'll say, for all of the uncertainty and kind of, granted, we don't know what it's like to drive an F1 car, but like, first race under these new regulations, there was a lot that I'm excited to see play out.
And I had a great time doing it. Like I think the
Genuinely.
biggest thing for me, I think going back to those how fast they can take a corner now and how easy it is to pass.
It was crazy because
That
when you
was
pointed that,
insane.
like, it was the cars genuinely looked like they were moving faster.
Yeah. I think they are like they normally like on a curve like they'll kind of the camera will slow down in their motion to like stay with it, but the camera had to just
Hmm.
keep going to keep the car centered. And so that was
It,
just
yeah,
it's going to be such a good season.
I'm
Um
so excited.
I'm excited for Shanghai because
Hmm.
it is the year of the horse in the Chinese New Year, and we're going to
I
China.
will, however, totally for real, that race is at like 2 a.m.
I will be
I
watching
will
the
watch
next
it in the
morning.
morning.
I will
Hmm.
be asleep and I will watch it in the morning.
Literally, what I do when they, because it's really, I feel like it's really only China, maybe Japan, where it's like, I'm like, I'm going to bed.
Yeah.
But like in the mornings, I'm like, I have to swipe off like Twitter notifications, Williams app notification, like
Mhm.
literally just every notification under the sun. And I cannot open Twitter. I
Nope.
cannot open Instagram. I mean, it's like an unintentional, like, couple hour fast from social
It
media
really is because
because, like,
our algorithms know us so well that if we open a single one, it's going to be like race results,
no, literally,
crazy information.
I guarantee you, I will open Instagram after I watch the race, and it will be something about the result,
It's
if
always about
not a
something.
picture of the podium.
Yeah, seriously. So, yeah, catch us asleep for that, but we will
It's
get
okay.
sick of it after the fact, obviously. So,
Oh, duh. Yeah,
yeah. Speaking
duh.
of, just like one little fun fact that I want to close us off on that I just thought was the funniest thing ever. It's not F1 related, but it is Year of the Horse related. Um,
Okay.
so China lately has had an obsession with Draco Malfoy. for the Chinese New Year. Because the name Draco, when you separate it, means like good fortune and horse. And it's the year of the horse. And so, I don't know if you've seen, but China
Charles
has all
Wolf
these
driver champion.
decorations. No, literally, with like first year Draco Malfoy, like printed on napkins, on signs, on like. I just thought that might have been one of the funniest things that I've seen in a
You
while.
heard it here. Year of the horse. You heard it here first, folks. Chinese New Year supports Charles and Ferrari World Driver and Constructor Championship.
No, genuinely, like here,
Please,
hold on.
please.
I'll show you.
I sound like I'm kidding, but please.
Please, I'm begging you. Yeah, so yeah, the Chinese characters for horse and good fortune. And so he is just straight up like on banners,
Oh, that's phenomenal.
on napkins. He's like on everything. It's so funny to me. So,
That's pretty good.
yeah, just
That's
a
pretty
fun little
good.
fact. Draco Malfoy
I mean,
is a Ferrari fan. I'm gonna say it right here, right now. Actually,
It's
honestly, he'd probably be like a Mercedes fan.
yeah, I could see that. He's probably been in the paddock. Let's go. We'll figure
Yeah,
we'll figure that
Daddy's
out
probably
after
brought him
hours.
to the paddock. Daddy's brought him to the paddock.
But yeah, no, it's. I mean, you'll probably hear us say it. Actually, no, not probably. I guarantee you'll hear us say it again. We're so back. We're
so back.
so back.
I'm so excited. Well,
Me too. Me too, dog.
I'm sad that I won't be able to see the next race with you, but I'm so glad that I got this
know.
one. It was a monumental milestone.
It's
for
okay.
us. So
We know at a minimum we will watch one more race together this year in person.
and that will be insane. So yeah.
Hopefully we figure out we see each other again. But regardless, we know we got at least one more.
We got at least one more. And you'll catch us talking about that probably every episode from here on out. So
Probably.
we're just very excited. So
We are.
maybe
We're
we'll
very-
run
I mean-
into Matt and Tommy again in the bathrooms.
That would be, genuinely, it would be one of those, like, it would be a nickel situation again.
It would be a nickel situation, and honestly, if that happened, I would buy a lottery ticket.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
that's an insane thing. But at the very least, we'll have a good time in Spain. So
Hey, and you know what? On the off chance, well, I'll say, on the off chance, Matt and Tommy, you're listening, let's make it happen. Y'all want to go to Spain? You want to hang out? Come on, please.
Matt and Tommy, on the off chance that you do go to Madrid this year, let us know. We'd love to redo our interview with you, not standing
Not
outside
outside
the
a porta
theater.
potty. Maybe a nice little like cafe this time. We could take a stroll through the park. Like, you know what?
Even just
we'd
a
let
normal-
you guys pick.
A busy street, even, it doesn't matter. Just as long as there's not the potential for hearing someone sharding next to us. I think that's the criteria that we need for that. Otherwise,
So, anyways, if you this finds your way across your desk, just know we're interested. We're available. Can't wait to maybe hear from you.
yeah. Anyways, I'm Hannah,
I'm Sydney,
and it's lights out.
and away we go.
Bye.
Bye.